right, it was pretty much as I expected, a nuke job. What I didn't expect is we were going to nuke the opponents and ourselves. But overall, it's kind of like what I expected. That's why I didn't really do a lot of film study. And, we're like Mike Tyson. I've said that for a while now. The speed is kind of like the speed and power of Mike Tyson. If you go against an inferior opponent, they don't come correct. They get embarrassed. Now, we're a little sloppy, and we kind of made this an uglier situation than it needed to be. But mostly, it was a chill day. I mean, everybody knew. It just, we just stop being sloppy. Let's win this game. Let's move on. At 31-16, it was a lot worse than that. We put on 7 points. It was like 9 points on the day. Should have been more like a 40-something to 9 maybe score. But whatever. We destroyed them, nuked them, and now we're going to go to the Panthers next week and nuke them as well. Maybe not as bad, but probably. So Dolphins are now 4-1, which is great. We lead the AFC East by half a game. Bills lost to the Jags over there in T-Sipping country. The Patriots, man, I have no faith in that team anymore. They lost 35 last week and 34 this week. They're finito. They're done. Done. Mac Jones is done. So now we got to wait to see what happens with the Jets later on. But we're in firm control of this AFC East for now. Anything can happen. I felt bad for the Bills. I know, you're not. I just don't like injuries. Milano, if you haven't heard, he got his leg pinned in the turf, broke his leg and maybe ligaments, and then Daquan Jones, a D tackle, tore a pec. He had White from last week. Bad news. And that's why I don't celebrate, because you never know when it's your turn for this kind of stuff. So we have a strong lead right now. We're going to have an easy game next week. Bills will have an easy game. But they've taken major hits on their defense. And you never know. We could be next up on their roulette wheel of disaster. So both these teams are going to be battling out to the end. But it doesn't look like the Patriots are going to be there. And Jets, they might be lurking as spoilers. So this is a good spot for the Dolphins. Win next week will have us 5-1. And then we go against the Eagles. And, there's not going to be really big, you can't really do much film study this week. It's a very bad team. The ends are terrible. Their cornerbacks are pretty much terrible. They got one linebacker, 2 DTs, and maybe a safety and on defense. And so, A-Chain and Hill and Waddle, they destroyed this team. And that's what they're going to do to bad defenses, So it was fun. It was enjoyable, but we have to understand that what we do against the better teams is really what it's all about. So it was a good time. I liked it. I wasn't stressed in the least, not even for, we'll get into it, to the Tua picks and the defense and the offense and all this other stuff. Some people getting upset with Tua, and they should, sort of. Now, that first pass interference, non-pass interference was a bad, risky throw. He didn't need to do it. But then the next one where he got the pick returned for the 6, there was tight leverage on Waddle, and he tried to fit it through the window, which is part of his gunslinger mentality. But you're starting to get this clear MO that he's just not as careful with the football as he needs to, because that was a very risky play that was turned for 6 points. Then the other one, that looked bad, but when you go back, somebody on the Twitterverse put up, and so Twitterverse actually works out to be good sometimes, his hand deflected off the helmet of Connor. So that one I really don't blame him for. The first one, though, I do. And it doesn't matter in this game when you nuke the team, but against the better teams, in the playoffs and all this other stuff, he's got to get this under control. It's clear now the guy's got talent. He's got the ability to do some stuff. But this part of the game is critical, and I want to see that taken care of. But we had those 2 picks, and then we had the fumbles. We were very sloppy today, and, normally you get 4 turnovers, you lose. But not when I give playing a team this bad and you got this much speed. So then A-Chain fumbled one and Mostert fumbled one. He had 2 fumbles last week. This stuff, it's all fun and games in this kind of game where you nuke at somebody. But we have to get this under control, because this is not about breaking records. Speaking of records, I was very happy about. We broke the Patriots record of 2011. Hated that team. For yards per play for the first 4 games, I like to see another Patriots thing fall, a record fall. So we are a very, very potent team with the speed. But guys, you have to understand there's no edge protection here. And this is it's doing way better than I thought as far as the run game. I didn't think we were going to get this much pop runs. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. In the regular season, even against some of these weaker teams, but I didn't realize how weak some of these teams were going to be. So when you saw in the preseason, we had those 2 big games, and then we went against the Jaguars, and they got diminished. I didn't think we were going to have that, but we are. And so I'm impressed. I have to admit, I was wrong about that. But it's going to be critical to see how we do against the better teams. I mean, we had one against the Bills last week, but that was when they had all the backups in, and I still don't really rate that too high. So I'm looking forward to seeing how at least we're running the ball a lot. You can't fool McDaniel too much. And you can see the difference between Connor and Eichenberg. Connor really, he wasn't in full self. You could see he was a little bit slowed, but boy, does he make a difference, doesn't he? So, and he was going against 2 really good D tackles. And his position, he had to fight that out. So that was really good. So 2 or 308, 2 picks, bad. We don't want to see the picks and all that other stuff. But he had some good plays on the day. But, we know the deal. Hill, 8 for 181, 22.6 and 1 TD. The guy's a star stud. I think he might even get the 2,000. A-Chain, 11 for 151, 13.7, 1 TD. He had the fumble. Again, see people saying he's a great running back. No, not yet. Not at all. He's got great speed. And great speed when you give, the running back from the Bears in the 60s. Oh, my brain is fried. I'm getting old. You guys know who I'm talking about. Can't remember his name right now. I guess I'm hoping it's the camera and not senility. But you know what I'm saying? He's like, give me 6 inches a day. Like, that's what A-Chain is. Right now, he's got great speed. And if you don't seal those gaps on the edge, and you don't, make those tackles, he's going to destroy you. Now, his greatness will come by not putting the ball on the carpet, staying healthy. He got dinged. He got hurt at the end where one of the DTs, the play got slowed down and he got, wrapped up by one of the DTs and fell on him and he was gone, didn't come back. I think it's just a small ding. But so he's going to have to stay healthy. He's going to not put the ball on the carpet to be great. And then we got to see him work in those tight confines where he's not getting these huge alleys to run through. Now, even if they're not so huge, like the one big run he had, his speed is what, destroys teams, and it is great. He's got great speed. Now, I think he might be able to transition to the higher levels of the back, but we got to wait and see. Still, unbelievable day for this kid. I'm so happy for him. I know he got hurt in the preseason. This is really great for us and for this kid. I love the running game. Wilson, I think they're trying to shop him because now they've got Claypool. He had a real nice seal block for Craycraft. He took over for Craycraft, a nice seal block on a nice run, and he had some catches, so maybe they're shopping him. The offensive line did pretty good, but there's not much really to defend. Lamb, you saw him get driven back, and Jackson got driven back at the same time in just the end of the second half, and they got a sack. But you can see, they're not bad, but they just lack that to hold against the power, and sometimes they break down. But it doesn't really matter against games like this where you nuke somebody. It's going to be very interesting, all of this. A-Chain's ability to run, Tua's ability to be careful with the football, the O-line's ability to protect the receivers to make these big plays. Not next week, but against the Eagles in their house. If we could do, it's not going to be the same, but if we could still have some regularity with all these things, it's going to say a lot for our chances, way more than what you're seeing here this week and next week. And so let's just enjoy these nuke jobs and then keep our eyes on that game coming, because if we could do some of this stuff with some kind of regularity like this, it would be unbelievable. I'm hoping, but I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to let my heart get too crazy just yet. Now on defense, now it's a good Fangio week, but this is a bad offense. Daniel Jones, crazy eye Daniel Jones. He's bad. The offensive line was bad to begin with and had a bunch of backups in there. We destroyed them. We only gave them 9 points, which is great. VG is looking like a real stud. And if he keeps going like this, it's going to be great for us this season, but I don't know if we're going to be able to keep him. He's probably going to get a good contract unless, he wants to stay with Fangio. He had tackle for loss for a sack, should have been 2, but X had the illegal contact or something that stripped away that sack. X, if you watch X, he was getting a little... the job he done on him. And I think it says a lot that if he was playing man last week against Diggs, I don't think it would have been such a wonderful day either. He's just not the same as he was, appearing at least, as preseason. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. It wasn't a great day for him, not a terrible day. Wilkins, he only had 4 tackles and a half a sack, but he was pretty dominant again against a poor team. But getting that interior pressure the way he did, it allowed other guys to feast. Sealer, though, feasted big, 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. He had a big day. These 2 guys worked well together, especially against terrible offensive line. Now, Baker had 8 tackles, 1.5 sacks. He had a really good day. I got to go to the film to see exactly what he did. He goes, pop stats, but what did he do inside? I got to look to see. But overall, excellent day. Now, last week they had 10 sacks on the Giants. This week we had 7. While it's a lot, this is a really, really bad team. So you got to kind of mitigate all that stuff. But overall, there's still poor tackling. There's a lot of poor tackling, and I'm a little, not concerned, but my belief for Holland to be a top-level safety for Fangio's system, I'm getting a little shaky on it. I still think he's going to be very good, but the lack of tackling is concerning, and it's critical for Fangio's defense. Now, maybe Holland's just a better single-high, like free safety type safety, rather than a guy who's got to sometimes come in the box. Sometimes these safeties, they rotate and they shift, and what their tackling does is a big deal for what Fangio wants to do. And this lack of tackling is continuing with Holland. I hope it gets fixed soon because I love the kid. I still think he's going to be really good, but the greatness part, he's going to have to tackle. So that's really it. Kohu looked better in the nickel. You saw Apple over there. He made some mistakes, but he had some tackling. But Kohu looks much more comfortable inside the nickel position. And so that's really it. This Dolphins team, happily, is going to have another nuke job next week. Unbelievably, I found the guy that's worse than Eichenberg, and that is Chandler Zavala. He's a big 334 left guard for the Panthers, and he is actually worse than Eichenberg, and we're going to be able to feast on him next week, and that's going to be nice. I'll enjoy that. So, relaxing day. I can go to the film when it comes out. It's not going to be too high stress. A lot of smiles. Just hope that the nick that Wynn got, the nick that Lamb got, Omar Kelly reported he limped off a little bit. And the nick, hopefully, that Shane got is not serious. That's really the only concerns we have over the next 2 weeks is injuries. Other than that, I'm looking for 5-1, and that's going to be great stuff for us. So I hope you enjoyed the day. It was a nice, relaxing day. Curtis saying, catch you next time. Be well. Go Fins. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.